About a week ago I bought this Supro Delta King 8 on a really good deal. I thought it would be a fun low wattage amp to use for practice, recording and semi-acoustic shows. Now a lot of famous music has been recorded using low wattage and small amps, like the opening tune for instance, but also like this riff for example. That sound was my Telecaster straight into the amp, so all the overdrive that you're hearing is actually the amp itself and it isn't that loud in the room. Now with the small 8-inch speaker I was a bit worried that the amp might be a bit shrill or thin, but actually the opposite is true, it's a pretty dark sounding amp. Since the amp only has a tone control, I have that one maxed or pretty much open most of the time, and with a humbucker guitar I usually use the bridge pickup. But if you're using a humbucker with a bridge pickup, it gets a bit of a tweed kind of amp feel and sound to it. Check this. That again was the guitar straight into the amp, this time with all the controls maxed and the boost turned off. Given the dark nature of this amp, it's pretty limited with a guitar like this, but let's see if we can get a good clean tone with a Telecaster on the neck pickup. Once again, that was straight into the amp with no aid of any pedals and just a clean sound, and I think this would just about hold up in the mix. But let's see what we can do if we add some pedals to the sound. I was using my JHS Morning Glory and DOD Rubberneck and it handled those effects really well. In my opinion, it opened up the amp a bit more and made it a bit more usable. But I still want to push the limits of this amplifier, so I'm going to use two humbucker style guitars and use it in a mix for a rhythm and a lead part. That's a very specific sound. I would call it a character sound, and I would not use it like this in real life, at least not for multiple guitar parts at the same point in a song. There are some negatives about this amp, and the first one is that it's a bit too dark sounding. And it's not because of the speaker, it's actually the circuit. So if I use the line out and run it into a speaker simulator, it's still pretty dark sounding. Which brings me to my next negative. The line out is before the master volume of the amp, and while this could be positive for some people who want to play quietly, I think this is a negative. If I push the master volume on the amp, if I use the line out, my speaker simulation is still sounding a lot cleaner than what I actually hear in the room. But we're talking about a pretty affordable little tube amp here. It looks really cool, it's not too loud, it has that small tube amp character and sound to it, and it's really easy to use. For the price, I think you can get a lot of use out of it.